I live in Philly now, but I'm from the D.C. area. That's right. It's your nation's capital, so some respect. Now, so I grew up in D.C., and I grew up in the hood. You know, my father wasn't around. He was in prison pretty much my whole life. Single-parent household. It was me, my mother, and my sister, which was fine. You know, we didn't have much, but we had each other, so that was good enough. And coming out of high school, there was a lot of buzz going on around me because I had written an essay, and it was about a friend of mine who actually got murdered. D.C. was the murder capital back then. And he had gotten murdered, and his death actually triggered a change in my life. Like, I had gone from all the nonsense that I was doing and really turned it around, a 180 basically. And the Washington Post actually heard about me, and they wrote a story about me, and it just, you know, boosted it even more. So a whole bunch of buzz going around, a whole bunch of things going around, and I had decided to go to Maryland Eastern Shore. Anybody here go there? No? A little bit? Be a fighting hawk. No, so I decided to go to Maryland Eastern Shore. I had a athletic scholarship. A couple of my friends were going there, so everything was lined up. It was perfect. And a month before college began, I'm asleep. I'm at home. It was the summertime. You know, I'm sleeping in a little bit. And the phone kept ringing. And so I picked it up, and it was the women who were in a carpool with my mother to take her to work. And they're like, listen, we're running behind. You know, can you make sure that your mother's ready so that when we get there, we can, you know, just take off and go? I was like, all right, you know, damn. That's how you know when you're frustrated. When you leave the D off the damn, you go, damn. So I go into the room, and, you know, I'm like, Mom, you know, Donna and them on their way over. You know, make sure you're ready. And she you know, she just didn't say anything. And I'm like, Ma, you know. And I saw that something was wrong. And so I went over closer to her, and I saw that my mother had passed away. She had died in her sleep. And but it was as if my brain couldn't accept it. So I screamed to my sister. My sister came running in, and, you know, we tried to revive her, called 911. I mean, it was clear that she was gone, but it's a strange thing that happens when you know, it's like you suspend reality. And she had always gotten up every day, you know, to go to work, and I just couldn't understand why she wouldn't get up. It didn't make sense to me. And I was real close to my mother, so when she died, it was like I died. You know, I know what it's like to be a zombie because I could walk, you know, and I can talk, but there was nothing inside. It was just emptiness. And it was about time to go to college after a while. And you know, I didn't really want to go, but I knew that she would have wanted me to, and I knew that if she could, she would have whooped my ass had I said I'm not going. So I went to college, but the guy that they were expecting, you know, through the Washington Post article and sports and all this, that's not the guy they got. You know, he was gone. He wasn't around anymore. And I was going through the motions. You know, I think college had just started. It was maybe like 2-3 days in, and I got a phone call from my sister, and the phone call went like this. You know, ring, ring. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Can y'all ring the phone for me real quick? Ring. Cool. Hello? And it's my sister, and she goes, hey, Chris. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Rachel? She says, there was a fire, and our place burned down. Like, everything's gone. And I was like, are you all right? She said, yeah. She said, you okay? I said, yeah. She was like, all right, I love you. I was like, I love you too. And we hung up, and that was that. So I'm 17 years old, no parents, no home, and really the only clothes I had was what I had already bought. Now, luckily, one of the things I had was a pair of Timbs, and y'all know, if you got a pair of Timbs, you're good. 365 days of the year, you can rock your Timbs. So I had my Timbs. They didn't know that was all I had. You know, that was my style. I was a thug. Got on Timbs. And so that's what I did. And, you know, I really was just going through the motions. I wasn't there. I wasn't, you know. I remember me and my buddies, we were in this near fatal car accident. This 18-wheeler had ran the red light, and my buddy had jumped the green light. So we were like this, and everybody in the car was freaking out, oh my God, going crazy, except me. I was just sitting there. And afterward, you know, luckily, you know, obviously it wasn't a fatal accident. I'm standing here. But thanks. So, and they were asking me, they were like, yo, you weren't scared? You weren't? And no, I wasn't scared, you know, but what they didn't know was I wasn't not scared either. I just wasn't anything. I was just there. And so anyway, I continued to go through the motions, and I ended up graduating, but I didn't have a plan after graduation. So I took the first job that came to me. A friend of mine worked at a school, and she was like, they were hiring. So I took a job as a teacher. I hated it. Badass kids. I never knew any of the answers. And my heart just wasn't in it, you know. I wasn't supposed to be a teacher. I was a writer. I was a PR guy. I was a creative type. So it wasn't a fit. And I worked there for 2 years, and it was going on a 3rd year. And it was negotiation day. That's when you go in, you meet the principal, you negotiate your salary, and you sign a contract for the upcoming year. So I'm waiting for my turn, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm watching people go in and out, and I'm thinking, like, what am I doing? Why am I about to go into this again? I'm not happy here. This is not the path I'm supposed to be on. And I had always wanted to go to Philly. I had never been to Philly before, but you know, I liked the vibe that was coming out of Philly. I liked the music coming out of Philly. Yeah, it was just real cool. So that was just in my head, you know, man, Philly would be real dope. And so principal came out, and he's like, Mr. Lundy, you know, you ready? And I stood up and I said, I'm going to Philly. And he was like, what are you talking about? Come on, let's go talk. And I was like, no, I'm going to Philly. And I reached my hand out and I shook his hand. And he sort of looked in my eye. It was like that kid that the Washington Post had written about was back. It was like he was alive again. And I shook his hand, and he sort of looked in my eyes, and he was like, I wish you luck. I was like, all right. So about 2 weeks later, I'm in my U-Haul truck driving down this long-ass street, and I'm like, what is this, a Broad Street? Yeah. And I'm crossing Cecil B. Moore. I still don't know who Cecil B. Moore is. I just looked it up. He was a cool dude. You should look it up. He's got a real good story. So anyway, so I'm in Philly now, and I'm renewed. I got this sense of energy. I don't know anybody. I don't really know where I am, but I felt like I was back, right? And so I thought to myself, you know what? What do I love? What do I love? One thing was writing. I went to the Philadelphia Tribune, boom, pitched a couple stories. I started freelancing for them. So I'm like, man, is this how it works in Philly? So I'm like, all right, what else do I love? I love football. So I picked up the phone. Hello, Eagles? Yeah, I wanna be a scout. And I swear to you, a week later, I'm sitting in front of the director of college scouting having an interview with him. And he's like, so, you know, what kind of, experience do you have scouting? I'm like, none. And he was like, so you've never scouted before? I'm like, nope. But I play Madden all the time. Right? So needless to say, I didn't get the job, and I still don't know why I didn't get the job. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but whatever. Let's go. I'm feeling it. Shortly after that, I got a call, and it was the Eagles, and they said, "Listen, I know the whole scouting thing didn't work out, but what do you think about PR?" And I'm like, "What? Like this is what I do? Like absolutely." But I decided that this time when I went in, I was going to prepare. And so I researched everybody. I'm talking from the owner all the way down to the janitor. I knew every single thing going on in that organization. And when I went in there, I was beating people to the punch. Like they were introducing themselves, and I was like, no, come on, I know you, Rich. How you doing? How's your daughter, Skylar? Top to bottom, top to bottom. They didn't know what to do with me, and so they hired me. And it was where I belonged. It was what I should have been doing. So I climbed up the ladder really quick, and I found myself working with major players like Dawkins, you know, McNabb, when T.O. came, Curse. And I'm working with ESPN. I'm doing all kinds of things that I used to dream about doing. And what's funny is I remember one time I actually coached a flag football game against John Madden. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I am literally playing Madden right now. I told you I played Madden. And we won. We did win. You know, and, you know, we went to the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys remember that. This is actually the NFC Championship from that. It would have been a Super Bowl championship if the Patriots didn't cheat so damn much. But, I mean, it was great. You know, I got a ton of stories, a ton of experiences, connections that I still have, you know, till this day. And one thing I just always thought back to was I rerouted. You know, I rerouted. I knew that the path that I was on, yeah, maybe it was okay or for someone else, but it wasn't for me. It didn't feel right inside. And so I knew that I had to change my direction, and that's what I did. And it worked out for me. You know, I found happiness, and I'm still living that life till this day, you know. And so if it's one thing that I want whoever to take away from this is that pay attention to yourself, right? Because you may be in a situation, whether it's the person you're dating, whether it's the job you have, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's what you're studying in school. You'll know if it's not right. You'll feel it. And if it's not, reroute. Change your direction. Don't be afraid. I know it can be scary, it can be a little strange, you know, but do it. It'll pay off. So thank you.